Hello, this is Daniel Mart back again. I'm an actor and filmmaker based out of South Florida, and for this video, I wanted to review of The Princess Bride. As we all know, Rob Reiner passed away, was murdered by his son, Nick, earlier this week. Yeah, I just want to talk about one of my favorite Rob Reiner movies. He's done so many great ones. He had that incredible run from 84 to about 94 with Spinal Tap, This is Spinal Tap, Princess Bride, Harry Met Sally, Misery, Stand By Me, A Few Good Men as well, which is another movie that means a lot to me as well. He of course did other stuff like Ghost of Mississippi and An American President, right? And then Being Charlie, which is now, given current events, like not scrutinized. I don't think that's the right word, but being looked at very intentionally, I guess, given current events. Being Charlie, and of course he bookended his directorial run with Spinal Tap 2. And of course he was an actor even before this. All in the Family, Wolf of Wall Street, he was also in those two things. He was in New Girl as Justice's dad, which was great as well. So yeah, I just want to talk about my favorite directing wise, my favorite Rob Reiner movie. It's a movie that means a lot to me. If you saw my video where I basically said rest in peace Rob Reiner, you would know why it means a lot to me, because it's one of those films that really got me into acting proper. So I just wanted to give a review of the whole movie because I think it just seems appropriate to discuss him. I guess I just didn't want to leave my thoughts of Rob Reiner in that one video where it's like a bit negative towards the end, given current events, given how people reacted to his death, and given just the fact of how he was murdered, So I want this to be a more positive experience in regards to talking about Rob Reiner. This is actually an incredible movie when you really think about it. When you think of fantasy movies like of this nature, like this definitely has to be up there as one of the best fantasy movies of all time. Now, granted, it's never gonna reach the stakes of something like, I don't know, Lord of the Rings, because I would say that's kind of high fantasy in the sense of how epic in scope it is and all that, whereas this is kind of more, more of your traditional fantasy adventure type of stuff, almost like Robin Hood as well, in that vein, And it's such a fun movie overall. I really very much enjoy this movie. I haven't seen this movie in honestly a couple of years, if I'm being completely honest, but it's one of those things that I just saw it and I immediately felt this almost warm hug. I guess would be the best way to explain it. I just felt so happy watching this movie. There's a part of me that just throughout this movie, and then thinking about Rob Reiner's career, is wow, he really did do so many different movies from this fantasy movie, this adventure to fantasy movie, to Misery, where it's basically a thriller horror movie, to Spinal Tap, which is the original mockumentary, when you think about it, to a legal drama with A Few Good Men, and then the perfect rom-com with Harry Met Sally, and perfect childhood movie with Stand By Me. He had so many different avenues that he went through filmmaking wise, and honestly I would say this is probably his best achievements in that. I know some people want to say Harry Met Sally, I know some people want to say Spinal Tap, especially given Spinal Tap 2 just came out. Those are fair options, but for me, I would say this is probably his best movie out of the bunch that he's ever made. Again, it just feels so warm for me. I guess that's the best way I could word it. It's kind of just a warm movie. And part of it may have to do with the fact that that on a personal level, this means so much to me. As I described in the Rest in Peace Rob Reiner video, the main reason why this movie resonates so much with me, the reason why this movie means so much to me, is because I actually did the scene where it's Vizzini versus Wesley, the Battle of the Wits scene, as my first ever acting scene in anything for my summer camp at University of Miami, back when I was 13, 14 years old. When I first started my career, that's how it started. I went to I did the summer camp classes for acting and theater, and at the very end of the semester, the teacher chose this scene for me and my stepbrother, because my stepbrother took the classes with me, and we did that scene, us two, and then some girl that was there visiting her grandparents, and we did that scene, and it was honestly very great. And originally I was cast as Wesley, my stepbrother was cast as Vizzini, but we kind of quickly realized hey, it'd be more logical, it would make more sense if we traded places, And yeah, the Battle of the Wits, it's one of those things, if you ask me right now, I do not remember any of the lines, if I'm being honest with right now. I do not remember any of the lines, maybe because I just saw it. Yeah, I have the one line from Wesley where he's truly you have a dizzying intellect, that one line, and Wallace Shaw as Vizzini, you've given everything away, right now, because I've just recently saw this in the past 2-3 days, I have some of those lines memorized right now, but realistically speaking, I don't think about these lines like that. Like if you were to tell me maybe 2 weeks from now, can you name these lines? Can you say these lines by verbatim? I'd be like, no, I completely forgot. But it's one of those things when I was watching the scene, I'm like, wow, these was all coming back to me all of a sudden. Like I now remember these lines, like ba 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 ba. You know, like I was remembering these like as if I had done them in the past. You know, yeah, I mean. Vizzini, I think just because of that this movie is always going to hold a very special place in my heart because it means so much to me because of how I started acting in general. It is the very first thing I ever did as an actor, and it's just incredible because of that. But like even outside of that scene, outside of this, you know, the whole movie as a whole is great. You believe the camaraderie between all these characters, between Wesley and Princess Buttercup and Inigo Montoya and Fezzik, you believe this camaraderie. You understand that Vizzini is kind of a prick, you know, and yes, he's bullying and abusing Inigo and Fezzik, but like they kind of have to go along with it because like what else are they gonna do? You know, it's kind of one of those things. And something I forgot about this movie, again, maybe because I haven't seen it in a good minute, but I didn't realize that Humperdinck, he's the one that put out the hit on Buttercup. Spoilers, I guess, but yeah, he put out the hit on Buttercup. Now that's one of those things I completely forgot when I was watching this movie. I heard that and I was like, wait, what? I remember him like wanting to torture Wesley. I remember him, of course, you know, how he ends up at the end. You know, I remember everything about him as a character, him wanting to marry Buttercup. I kind of forgot that there's basically this whole thing where he wanted to go to war against the other region, the other country, whatever, and by doing that, he wanted to kill basically his wife. I completely forgot that from this movie, to be honest with you. Part of that has to do with the fact that, you know, it's Wesley and Buttercup. This is really the story of Wesley and Buttercup at the end of the day. It's such a great story, like, you know, this love story where they come back to each other at the end and all this good stuff. You know, granted, the beginning of their relationship, once they re-meet after, 5 years, that is a little bit questionable, not gonna lie, but him going down that hill, just going, as you wish, you know? Like that's honestly hilarious, and then them just rolling down that hill for an absurd amount of time. It's just great, like, and that's all I can say about this movie. It's like a really great movie. I really love everything about this movie. And, you know, the Inigo Montoya versus finding the six-figure man, like, I don't know why, but I don't know if I've ever felt this beforehand, but, you know, watching it this time around, it felt a lot more personal to me. It felt a lot more, like, dramatic to me. It felt like it hit me harder to me, to be honest with you. And maybe that's part because of what's going on with me and my father right now. Nobody's killed my father. Let's go with that. Nobody's killed my father. You know, my dad just has gotten cancer, but, you know, and he's cured right now. The other day we went to his hospital to like do the final biopsy, and yes, he's 100% cured now. They don't think it's gonna come back, but they're still gonna look at him for the next 2 years just to make sure everything's good. But neither here nor there. But it's one of those things, like, maybe just because of that relationship with the father in general and how close that relationship with the father can be, I think that's the part that really got me. Like, of course, like I said, my dad's not been murdered. You know, I literally just saw him about 2 hours ago. But you know, it's one of those things, like, I guess that part of it, just like having something done to your father regardless, and you wanting to make right by that, I think that's what hit me a bit deeper. And then, you know, in describing all this, I just realized father murdered. Wow, Nick murdered his father. I like this. Well, that's one of those things that's kind of just hitting me again. Fezzik, let's talk about Fezzik. Jesus Christ, Andre the Giant, fantastic performance. I mean, Andre the Giant, he's a big, lovable giant. Like, there's a lot of behind the scenes videos and interviews that have been done over the years about how Andre the Giant, he was just like this very much lovable figure on set. Like, everybody loved him. Like Bonnie Wright, when it was raining for whatever reason, and Bonnie Wright would literally just use his hand as an umbrella because that's how much of a giant Andre was. And, you know, and he just has so much warmth. Like, yes, he could be this big scary monster because he's, like 10 feet tall, but, you know, at the end of the day, he's this big, like, basically sensitive giant. You know, he's just trying to do right by those around him. I really do love that, and it's one of those things that also just warms my heart. Like, I loved seeing Fezzik here. I loved seeing Andre the Giant and him just being like taking care of everybody, from Inigo when he's drunk and hungover to Wesley, who's like barely able to get up at one point because of all the torture that happened to him. You know, and it's all great. And it's one of those things I didn't think about till this recent rewatch, is that, you know, Princess Buttercup, yes, she was captured by both Fezzik and Inigo at the beginning of the movie, but when she meets him again at the end of the movie, she has like no ill will towards him. I think she always knew it was just Vizzini that was the bad one, you know? So, you know, I don't know why that struck me this go around. We're like, oh wait, she is still friends. She still does like these guys regardless, and it's, I don't know why, but that just like really struck me this time around. The fight with the six-finger man, of course, I just said that was incredible. My name is Inigo Montoya. You kill my father, prepare to die. You know, I want my father, you son of a bit. You know, that whole thing was so great. overall, it's such a great movie. Overall, everybody gave a fantastic performance. I mean, there's a reason why this is rated amongst Rob Reiner's best movies. Yeah, even during that run, you know, like, and granted, that's an incredible run for any filmmaker to have. So it's kind of, you know, it's one of those things. I don't blame you if you put Spinal Tap over Princess Bride. I don't blame you if you put Stand By Me or Misery or A Few Good Men or some of those other movies over this movie, over Princess Bride. But you know, it's just such an incredible movie, such a fun movie. It's such a lighthearted movie, which I guess, given the tragic events of what happened, that's something you need. You know, whether it be this or Spinal Tap or Harry Met Sally, you want. I feel like you'd want something to lighten the mood. You know, it's one of those things I did consider watching. And I'll probably do this next week, if I'm being honest with you. Just give it a bit more time for me. But, you know, it's one of those things that you could watch A Few Good Men. You could watch Misery. But I feel like those would be a little bit stressful. It's one of those things that I kind of just want to have a little bit more fun. So, like, let me watch this. Let me watch Spinal Tap. Let me watch Harry Met Sally, you know? Gone too soon. Yeah, Rob Reiner, he was gone too soon. I think that's the understatement of the century right now. But I'll still say it's tragic in the way that he left us for very, very obvious reasons. And the response to it has been very disheartening. If you know, you know. Him and his wife. So, but overall, this is an incredible movie. I really do like it. It is definitely one of my favorite movies of all time. It's one of those things, if I had to make a top 50 list, top 50 favorite movies of all time, this would definitely be up there. I'm honestly not sure if it will crack the top 20. If I'm being completely honest with you, it may not make the top 20, probably the top 25 though. I think 20 I'd have to really think about if I'm being completely honest with myself, but it probably does make the top 25 because it just means so much to me. So yeah, in short, I just think this is an incredible movie, and I think it's something that, because of the impact it's had on me personally, as an actor, as a filmmaker, it's one of those movies that's like, it's always going to bring a tear to my eye. Like, I'm not gonna lie, when I was watching this movie, I was very much crying at certain parts. It's also one of those things that, like, this movie is incredibly funny. It's incredibly funny. I think that's one of those things that this movie kind of gets taken for granted. Like, you don't recognize, or you don't remember how funny it is till you're actually watching it. It has so many great scenes, of course, like even them going through the swamps. For example, Wesley on the torture machine, you know, all that stuff. There's some very great moments of comedy, but there's also some very great moments of drama. And it's just the way that it was melded in this movie is just incredible. And it's just very great, and I truly do love this movie. I think regardless of where it ranks on a top 50, top 20, whatever, favorite list, whatever, just the fact that it's had such an impact on me, that like, I think that's the part that matters the most. For being completely honest with you, yeah, it still sucks that he's gone. It's one of those things that I'm like, yeah, I think I'm good, generally speaking, and then I'll just watch a video about Rob Reiner and start crying. And it's one of those things that I'm not gonna lie, I did not realize how hard his death was gonna hit me, like a ton of bricks. So that's basically it for now. Rest in peace, Rob Reiner and Michelle Singer Reiner. Rest in peace. I hope there's justice for how you guys went out. I guess we'll leave that to the courts, although right now the courts are kind of hectic given recent reports, so we'll see. I guess we'll just pray for you, the family, anybody whose lives you touched, I guess, that they find peace of mind in this whole trial right now. That's basically it for now. I mean, again, incredible movie. For you guys, what's your favorite Rob Reiner movie? Comments all that down below and know. And yeah, that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart, signing off.